Hey everybody, what's up? How's things going? Another episode of Fat Loss Fridays today. Really sorry, obviously there wasn't one last weekend. I was at Twickenham watching England play, so I guess I'm not really that sorry. And then obviously Monday was not really feeling very good at all. I'm one of those sort of 24-hour bug things, so no video Monday either. But I'm back with a bang, and I thought, you know what, I've had enough of doing fish and chicken in fat loss recipes. So I'm going to do something you might not have seen before, steak. This is flat iron steak, and we're putting it in a fat loss recipe today because you can eat red meat and still lose weight. Red meat is not, the killer of all fat loss diets. As long as your total calories are in a deficit, you can lose body fat. So today I fancied steak, so I'm going to do a little steak recipe for you. So in terms of the steak, the reason I've gone for flat iron is to be brutally honest, is largely because it is a lot cheaper than the rump or sirloin or obviously fillet steak, but for me it still tastes great. If you know what you're doing with it, if you know how to season it, you know how to cook it, it still tastes fantastic. So we're going to have a very, very tasty steak, and then also the salad that we're going to have with it. We're not going to have a typical boring leaf salad that you get in a restaurant. I think the biggest thing, guys, for me when I go to restaurants to eat is they give you loads of that, the little kind of rocket leaf thing that doesn't really taste or anything, and they really scrimp on the juicy stuff like your tomato, your avocado, your courgettes, your cucumbers, and then obviously any dressing. You don't know what's in the dressing, so you're scared to have the dressing. Well, today we've not got that problem, okay? I haven't got an awful lot in, but we've got our bed of salad, we've got our bed of leaves. We're also going to add in some cherry tomatoes, nice fresh cherry tomatoes, nice and juicy. We've also got a little baby courgette in there as well. And then we've got our feta, which is going to really add the flavour to it, and really not an enormous amount of calories in the feta, so we can have that in there as well. So overall, guys, I guess we're looking at high protein, moderate fat, but very, very low carbohydrate in this particular recipe. So here we have our two cuts of steak. I'm cooking for two today, so this whole recipe will be for two, and then I'll give you the macros for each serving when we're done. So in terms of seasoning the steaks, very important thing you must do first, guys, is I've got this, I've had this out on the side breathing, getting up to room temperature for about 10 minutes, and now I'm going to season it. And ideally, guys, the longer you can leave the seasoning on, the more flavourful it will be. But I'm going to leave the seasoning on for probably another 10 to 15 minutes just to let it bed in a tiny bit, and then obviously when we sear the steaks, hopefully that will sear some of the flavour in. I kept it very, very simple because I know what I like, but it adds plenty of flavour. We're going to season both sides fairly liberally with our sea salt. So I'm going to add this on first. So like I said, guys, don't hold back with this at all. Get the sea salt on there. Obviously sea salt is a bit more coarse, so you don't need to put quite as much on as you would do if you were using table salt. Pepper, obviously these are your, the baseline ingredients, guys, for steak. It's salt and pepper. You can't go wrong with a bit of salt and pepper. And then this stuff here is specific sort of barbecue seasoning designed for kind of steaks, chops. So again, get a healthy dose of that on there. And we're going to season both sides. I've never understood why some people only season one side. Very important just to pat. Obviously it has the effect of tenderizing the meat as well, but it gets the seasoning in there. And we do want that because we're not going to cook the steaks for that long to try and keep them nice and juicy. Stuff. Ooh. Our chipotle, cola, Tabasco. So all the carbs in the meal really are going to come from this. Okay, so we're going to use a fairly controlled serving. Okay, what we want to do is basically use a tablespoon of the sauce for each steak. Okay, because obviously we don't want any more than that. So here, so yeah, roughly a tablespoon. So there's one side. Okay everybody, so steaks have been resting for about 15 minutes now. Pan's very, very hot, which is what we want. We want to sear everything in. Just a final note before I put the steaks in, guys. I swapped olive oil for this stuff. Smoky barbecue fry light, 1 calorie spray. There's about 8 sprays in there at the moment, so obviously this is a really good way of keeping the fat down, but you can use olive oil if you want, if you're willing to have that higher fat content. It's entirely up to you. So guys, the steaks are going to go in. Once they go in, they're going to go on for literally probably 2 minutes per side tops. I like mine quite kind of rare, and one of the steaks is fairly thin. So once they go on, a couple of minutes, then they get turned, and then we're done with the steaks, okay? So I'm going to whack these in now. Hopefully they'll sizzle nicely. Yeah, they will. Steaks rest for a couple of minutes. Just going to quickly throw together our salad. So we've got our individual ingredients. We've got our bed of lettuce and mixed leaves here. Cherry tomatoes. As you can see, the ratios are very much in favour of juicy things to non-juicy things. Baby courgette there, that's going in. And then the real flavour is going to come from the next 2 things. So we've got our feta cheese here. This stuff's been marinated in olive oil, so it's slightly higher in fat than normal feta would be. So it's another way you can just reduce the fat, is just get normal feta cheese. It's very low in fat actually, to be honest. And then don't be afraid, guys, hands in. Get in there, mix it all together. Get that cheese kind of crumbling in there. Finally guys, and again, doesn't add a lot of calories, some light balsamic vinegar, tablespoon between the 2 people that we're serving with this, adds a minuscule amount of calories onto the dish. Just get that, drizzle that across the top, and again, if you want, I'd probably suggest it doesn't all rest on top, get the spoon in there, and again, just turn that salad over. Guys, that's our steak and salad. Way less boring than it sounded at first. Just under 300 calories in this. We're talking 25 grams of protein, just under 20 grams of fat, and about 7 or 8 grams of carbs, depending on how much salad you use and how much vinaigrette you use. So guys, very, very low calorie, but because of the fats in the steak and because of the protein in the steak, going to be very, very filling. Hopefully going to be delicious as well. Just one thing to note, guys, obviously if you want slightly higher protein content, then just get a slightly bigger steak. This is about a 4-ounce steak. It's very, very lean cut as well. So bump out to 5 or 6 ounces. You'll get a little bit more fat in there, but you'll get a lot more protein in there as well, guys. So I can't wait to sit down and tuck into this. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Guys, as always, if you like what you're seeing here, you want to see more stuff, subscribe to that page, click that thumbs up button, let me know what you want to see, and I promise you I'll get it up there next time, guys. Have a great weekend. Hopefully England beat Wales, and I'll see you next week. As always, guys, this is Paul from Get Yours Online Training. I'll see you next week. Cheers. Bye.